The Johnson family had survived the first storm. Daniel's lies, his rumors, even his vandalism, none of it had broken them. Instead, it had brought them closer together, uniting the family and the staff in a shared determination to protect what they had built. Customers kept returning, the restaurant glowed with life, and for a time, it seemed as though the worst had passed. But the letter on Mr. Johnson's desk told a different story. "You took my job. You ruined my life. But I'll ruin yours. This isn't over." Those words lingered in his mind, heavy as stone. Every time he looked at his wife, his children, his staff, he heard them again. This wasn't over. Angela noticed the way her husband's shoulders carried more weight than usual. Late at night, she found him sitting at the dining room table, staring at the letter. She placed a hand on his. "David," she whispered, "we can't let him scare us into living in fear. That's what he wants." "I know," David replied softly, "but this is different. This isn't just about the restaurant anymore. He's making it personal. He's coming after us." Angela's eyes hardened. "Then we fight back, not with hate, but with strength. He'll see who we really are." For the next few days, the Johnsons threw themselves into work, determined not to let Daniel's threat consume them. They hosted charity dinners, invited local leaders to dine, and strengthened their bond with the community. Customers praised not just the food, but the warmth of the atmosphere. Families who once might have hesitated now felt welcome. But in the shadows, Daniel's obsession grew darker. He sat in a dingy apartment, walls covered with newspaper clippings, online reviews, and photos of the Johnsons he had printed from social media. His hands shook as he scribbled notes, arrows pointing to names and addresses. His once smug face was now twisted by rage and desperation. "They think they've beaten me," he muttered to himself. "But they don't know me. They don't know what I can do." One evening, after closing, David was walking to his car when he noticed the faint sound of footsteps behind him. He turned quickly, but the street was empty. His heart raced. He got into his car, locked the doors, and drove off, scanning the mirrors the entire way home. The next morning, Angela found a message spray-painted on the restaurant's back door in red paint. "This is just the beginning." The staff gasped, fear spreading like wildfire. But David stood tall. "Clean it up," he ordered. "We don't give him the satisfaction of seeing us rattled." The staff obeyed, but the fear lingered. Days later, the tension hit closer to home. As Caleb was leaving school, he noticed a man across the street, watching him. The man didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, his face hidden beneath a hood. Caleb froze, his small hands tightening around his backpack straps. When he blinked, the man was gone. That night, Caleb told his parents. David's blood ran cold. "Angela, he's watching our kids now." Angela's calm composure cracked for the first time. "We have to call the police." They did. Officers came, took reports, and promised patrols near the restaurant. But without solid evidence, there was little they could do. Daniel, meanwhile, felt untouchable. Every time the Johnsons rebuilt, he struck again. Small acts meant to chip away at their resolve. A slashed tire. A threatening voicemail with no caller ID. Another wave of fake reviews online. But still, the Johnsons refused to crumble. One Saturday evening, the restaurant was packed. Families laughed over dinner, music played softly, and for a moment, it felt like the darkness outside had lifted. David looked around the dining room, pride swelling in his chest, until the lights flickered. For a split second, the room plunged into darkness before the power returned. Nervous laughter rippled through the diners. But David felt a chill run down his spine. Something wasn't right. He excused himself, walking quickly toward the back. The kitchen staff were on edge. "It's nothing," the head chef said, forcing a smile. "Probably just a fuse." But David didn't believe it. Later that night, as the last diners left, David locked the front doors and checked the kitchen. Everything seemed fine, until he smelled it. A faint trace of gasoline. His eyes darted to the back door. A small, makeshift canister sat there, half hidden behind crates. His heart thundered. Someone had tried to set a fire. Angela found him standing there, pale and shaking. "David, what is it?" He showed her the canister. Her hand flew to her mouth. "He's escalating," David whispered. "This isn't vandalism anymore. This is arson. This is attempted murder." They called the police again, this time with evidence. Officers sealed the back door, took photos, and promised an investigation. But David knew the truth. Daniel wasn't going to stop until someone stopped him. That night, as the Johnsons sat together in their living room, Caleb asked quietly, "Dad, why does he hate us so much?" David's chest ached. He pulled his son close. "Because when people are broken inside, they try to break others. But we are not broken. And we never will be." The family held each other tightly, the warmth of their bond stronger than the fear outside. But as they tried to sleep, miles away, Daniel stood in the glow of a street lamp, holding something in his hands. It wasn't a spray can this time. It wasn't a brick. It was a key. The camera of imagination would linger on his face, twisted into a smile. He had found a way inside. And the storm was only just beginning. The key felt heavy in Daniel's palm as he stood under the flickering street lamp. He had stolen it from a careless busboy weeks earlier, pocketing it during one of his secret trips near the restaurant. He rolled the metal between his fingers, a cruel smile spreading across his face. "They think they're safe," he muttered, eyes wild with rage. "But tonight, I'll take everything from them." Inside the Johnson household, the family tried to find comfort in normalcy. Angela tucked Caleb into bed, smoothing his hair as she whispered, "You're safe here. Don't worry about him." But deep down, she didn't believe her own words. David paced the living room, his thoughts restless. The police had promised patrols, but Daniel was always one step ahead. That night, while the city slept, Daniel crept toward the restaurant. His footsteps echoed in the stillness. The key slid into the back door's lock, turning smoothly. The click of the bolt releasing sent a thrill through him. For the first time, he wasn't just lurking in shadows. He was inside their sanctuary. The dining hall lay silent, tables neatly set for the next day. Daniel moved like a predator, eyes darting around as he carried a duffel bag. Inside it, gasoline, matches, and ropes. He wasn't just planning arson. He wanted terror. He wanted to see the Johnsons beg. But Daniel didn't know one thing. David had been expecting him. Earlier that day, after the gasoline canister had been discovered, David had made a call, not just to the police, but to a close friend, Detective Harris, who believed the Johnsons were being stalked by Daniel. They had set up hidden cameras in the restaurant, waiting for Daniel to slip up. And tonight he had. David's phone buzzed on the nightstand. He glanced at it, eyes narrowing when he saw the alert. Motion detected at Johnson's restaurant. He was out the door in seconds. Angela stirred awake, realizing he was gone. Fear jolted through her, but she didn't stop him. She knew he had to face this. David pulled up to the restaurant quietly, headlights off. From outside, he could see movement inside, the shadow of a man pacing with intent. Rage and resolve mixed in his chest. He dialed Harris. "He's here. Get your team." "Stay outside until we arrive," Harris warned. But David couldn't. This was his family's legacy, his children's future, his wife's dream. He wouldn't let Daniel destroy it. Pushing the door open, he stepped inside. "Daniel." The voice echoed across the empty dining hall. Daniel froze, his head snapping toward David. For a moment, surprise flashed across his face, then amusement. Well, the king himself. "Come to watch your little empire burn." David's eyes locked on the duffel bag. "It ends tonight, Daniel." Daniel chuckled darkly. "Oh, it ends, alright, but not for me." He yanked the zipper open, pulling out the gasoline can. "Do you know what it's like to have everything ripped from you? To watch your life crumble because of people like you? People like me?" David's voice was calm, steady, even as his heart raced. "You ruined yourself, Daniel. Your hate blinded you. And now it's destroying you." Daniel sneered, unscrewing the cap. "Save the sermon. I didn't come here for words. I came here for fire." Just as Daniel tipped the can, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Police sirens wailed, growing louder. Daniel's eyes widened, panic seizing him. David had stepped closer, his voice sharp. "You're caught. Right here. Right now. Daniel's rage boiled over. He lunged, swinging the can wildly, gasoline splashing across the tables. David dodged, grabbing his arm, the two men struggling as the bag toppled to the floor. Matches spilled out, skittering across the tiles. Daniel screamed, a guttural sound of desperation. "They'll never respect you. You don't belong here." David's grip tightened. Respect isn't something you take. It's something you earn. And tonight, you lose it all. The police stormed through the door, weapons drawn. "Drop it," Harris commanded, but Daniel refused. He reached for a match, fury blazing in his eyes. Before he could strike it, officers tackled him to the ground, pinning his arms behind his back. The gasoline can rolled harmlessly away. Handcuffed and defeated, Daniel thrashed against the floor. "You ruined me. You'll regret this," he spat. David stood tall, chest heaving, watching as the man who had tormented his family was finally dragged away. Harris approached, clapping a hand on David's shoulder. "It's over. You did the right thing calling us." David nodded slowly, his gaze drifting across the dining hall, gasoline glistening on the tables, the air thick with fumes. "I just wanted to protect my family. That's all I ever wanted." By dawn, news spread across the city. Former waiter arrested for attempted arson at Johnson's restaurant. Articles praised the Johnsons not just for their resilience, but for their courage in the face of hate. Community members rallied around them, leaving flowers and notes of encouragement at the restaurant's door. Angela stood with David in the dining hall that evening, their children beside them. Caleb tugged at his father's sleeve. "Dad, is it really over now?" David knelt down, looking his son in the eye. "Yes, son. It's over. Hate tried to break us. But it failed. Because love is stronger. Family is stronger. And justice always wins." Angela took his hand, her eyes glistening. "We didn't just save a restaurant, David. We saved our legacy. Our children will always know what it means to rise above." As the family embraced, the staff gathered around, applauding. The restaurant buzzed with warmth again, alive with laughter and hope. For the first time in months, there was no shadow at the window, no fear in the air. Justice had been served, and this time, it would last.